Now, Israeli soldiers withdrew from Gaza's main hospital after raiding and combing through the facility as Israel tightens its hold on northern Gaza. Leaders have talked of expanding the ground operation into the south as well.
Well, it's entire Gaza now, as it seems. Israel continues to root out Hamas. Most of Gaza's 2.3 million people have already crowded into the territory south, and a worsening fuel shortage threatens to paralyze delivery of humanitarian services and shut down mobile internet services as well.
Both Israel and its top ally, the United States, said that the Palestinian militants have a command center below the Al-Shifa complex. Hamas and directors at the hospital, which has become a focal point in the 40-day-old war, deny the charge. Israel has said that the raid was executed based on an operational necessity. It later said troops had found military and combat equipment inside the compound.
מצאנו בבית החולים אמצעי לחימה, חומרי מודיעין, טכנולוגיות צבאיות וציוד צבאי. בנוסף, הותרה מפקדה מבצעית, ובה אמצעי קשר וטכנולוגיות מבצעיות השייכות לחמאס. הטכנולוגיות והחומרים הועברו למיצוי ובדיקה של גורמי המודיעין.
The Hamas-run health ministry said Israel did not find any equipment or weapons in the hospital during the raid. In a statement, the ministry director said, and I quote here, essentially, we don't allow weapons in any hospital.
Definitely an MRI machine, and if you follow me behind the MRI machine, I'll show you what our troops exposed just minutes ago. In military terms, this is a grab bag, grab and go of a Hamas combatant, and if you zoom in and we get some light over here, what you will be able to see is military equipment. There is an AK-47. There are spare parts of the MRI department. We found another grab bag. It's empty because we...
An Israeli army video showed automatic weapons, grenades, ammunition and jackets, it said, were recovered from an undisclosed building within the complex. Witnesses in recent days have described conditions inside the hospital as horrific. Witness accounts describe medical procedures taking place without anesthetic, families with scant food or water, living in corridors, and the stench of decomposing corpses filling the air. Head of the World Health Organization called the decision to send troops into the hospital totally unacceptable. The situation in Gaza's other hospitals is also dire, with the WHO saying 22 of the 36 are not functional due to lack of generator fuel, damage or combat.
Video released by Hamas-run Ministry of Health in Gaza claimed to show patients being moved inside the smoke-filled corridors of Shifa Hospital as Israeli forces launched a raid. Now, health workers and other men are seen trying to cover their mouths and coughing as they move through the building.
International concern over the fate of people inside Al-Shifa hospital increased further as news of Israel's raid emerged. Qatar called for an urgent international investigation involving the United Nations. The White House pushed back against Hamas claims that Joe Biden was responsible for the hospital raid over U.S. assessments that militants were using Al-Shifa complex. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby said, and I'm quoting here, "We did not give an okay to Israeli military operations around the hospital."
Now, Turkish President Erdogan called Israel a terror state, stepping up his condemnation of the war in Gaza. Netanyahu hit back, saying Erdogan actually supports the terrorist state of Hamas. Meanwhile, Amman said an Israeli bombing close to the Jordanian field hospital in North Gaza and had injured 7 of its staff.
Jordanian Foreign Ministry said it was awaiting the results of an investigation to take the necessary legal and political steps.
Netanyahu gave no indication that Israel was easing up its campaign, saying there is no place in Gaza that we won't reach.
אתם זוכרים שאמרו לנו שלא נפרוץ לעזה? פרצנו. אמרו לנו שלא נגיע לפאתי העיר עזה? הגענו. אמרו לנו שלא ניכנס לשיפה? נכנסנו. וברוח הזאת אנחנו אומרים דבר פשוט. אין מקום בעזה שלא נגיע אליו. אין מסתור, אין מחסה, אין מקלט למרצחי החמאס. אנחנו נגיע ונחסל את החמאס ונחזיר את החטופים שלנו. אלה שתי משימות קדושות.
The Israeli premier has come under increasing pressure to do more to free hostages. Relatives of the captives have been calling on him to agree to a deal for their release immediately. One woman abducted by Hamas had given birth in captivity. Netanyahu's wife wrote in a letter to the United States First Lady Jill Biden, released by the premier's office.
Now, just hours after receiving its first delivery of fuel since October 7th, the UN warned Wednesday its operations in Gaza were on the brink of collapse. The UN Agency for Supporting Palestinian Refugees confirmed receiving 23,027 litres of fuel, but said it met only 9% of those daily needs.
Tensions across West Asia have surged since the start of the war. UN humanitarian chief discussed with Iranian foreign minister concerns about the Israel-Hamas war spreading.
Worried about the expansion of the war into the north. And if there is to be a war in the north with Hezbollah and Israel, then I fear the worst. I fear the worst. And we know that we can easily imagine the worst, because it will be a war that makes even Gaza, with its awful horrors of daily struggle, look like just a beginning.